Hi, guys, and welcome to Reality with T. Thank you for joining me today. I know it's been a while. I'm a little late on the 90-Day Fiance reviews, and I'll tell you why. It's mostly because it's a 2-hour long show, and now that I'm back at work, it's hard for me to watch it and then do the review. So now that I have a few minutes away from the kids, I'll do a quick review on 90-Day Fiance. But the tea is piping hot today, as you can see, because it's cold over here in New York City. So drink tea with me and let's get started, okay? I'm gonna start out with Libby. Let me start out with Larissa and Cole to get them out the way because this was pretty quick. So we see Larissa going in for the surgery. She's getting, I think, the nose and the boobs done. I don't know if she got a tummy tuck this time. And, Eric is there being supportive. And, they show her going in. They show that, they're both a little afraid. Then they show her coming out. And, she's kind of unresponsive in the beginning. They're like, Larissa, breathe, wake up and everything. And he had, Eric had a little scare, but she's fine. But he ends up having to take her home and she's completely out of it. He didn't know that taking care of her was going to happen. They were going to send her home like this. And he would be pretty much just taking care of somebody who was almost just unresponsive. So that's new to him. He does seem genuinely worried. I think anybody having to take care of somebody in this condition would be a little afraid. Like, am I doing this right? At one point he calls the clinic, like, can I give her a pill? It's kind of scary, but this is something she chose to do. And she chose to do it, get all this money from him, whatever her motivation is. I think eventually she got all this other stuff done, the butt, the tummy tuck, whatever else. Definitely, I think she's been getting her lips done. She got something else done to the face because she's supposedly trying to look like Kylie Jenner. And I think that the total of her surgeries is added up to like somewhere around $75,000. And everybody's just like, okay, so when are you going to mention or send something to your kids? The whole thing. We know it's something wrong with Larissa. I don't know what her motivation is. We don't know if she's trying to go into doing porn or whatever type of industry she's trying to be in. But, she's just not, I don't see it for her. Because to me, if you have kids and you have all this money, did you send any back to them? You're borrowing all this money that you're not going to give him back. And if you do, it'll take a while, because you're not working, you're not doing anything else. Supposedly they're moving to Colorado Springs now, where his family is from. So I don't know. I guess they're supposedly keeping this ruse of a relationship going. We'll see. We see Colt working out. He meets up with a friend and talks about what happened with Jess. And the friend says, I just see a lot of self-destructive ways with you. He tells his friend that Vanessa moved out. And the friend is telling him, listen, you need to create boundaries, and he agrees. I need to create boundaries with my mom. My mom is kind of ruining my relationships. Basically, you guys need to move into your own separate places because whatever you have going on in your relationships shouldn't happen in front of your mother. Your mother shouldn't be jumping into every relationship and trying to sabotage it. That's just, besides it being weird, it's inappropriate. Okay? So, Michael and Angela, they finally got married. They had a wedding. It actually was really nice. The family was all dressed up, of course, because if you've ever been to an African wedding, you know that they dress down. They dress up and down, and they know how to party. They had a nice cake, and half of it was Nigerian flag, half of it was American flag. They had food. They had, the works. Her hair looked nice. They did an outfit change. They got to the part where she's so extra. So they got to the part in the ceremony where the priest or preacher or whatever asked, to love and honor and obey. And she's like, obey. And she was kidding. But then she said yes. And then, afterwards, I'm not doing that or whatever like that. But, it seemed like a good time. So then, they show, I think the next day, JoJo was leaving. JoJo's going home, and Angela's going to follow her a few days later. So she's thanking JoJo for being there. And they're having, I guess they're having breakfast or something in the morning. And JoJo comes now asking, and it seemed like a good night. It's weird that now JoJo is asking Michael, are you with her for the green card? After 2 years, are you going to leave? I feel like sometimes you have trouble, she said, focusing on her and, listening to her, and you guys are arguing a lot. But it's weird that she did not ask these questions before the wedding. Like, all right, you came to the wedding, you gave your blessing, you were witness the whole thing, but damn, 12 hours later, you're going to start already crapping on it? Like, these are questions you could have asked before. We all have the same questions, but shouldn't you have asked that before the wedding, Because if she had a chance to get out of it, then that would have been a good time. But, Angela does defend him, and she says, the things that we argue about, the jealousy and everything, that's me, and that's more, it's heightened because I'm so far. You know what I mean? Basically, I'm not close enough to keep an eye on him. And she, we all know that she's insecure, because of the age, because of her looks, because of everything else, and I'm sure being far doesn't help. So then we see, I think it was the next day, I don't know. At some point, Skylar calls her and tells her grandma was unresponsive and was run to the hospital. And the paramedics took her. I think we find out she's in the ICU. So, Angela's freaking out. She's trying to get her earlier flight. I don't think she can, but I think she was scheduled to leave the next day anyway. So we're going to see her, after this great moment, have to rush home and, see how her mom is doing. And I'm hoping that, her mother didn't pass away. I think that she has now passed away in real time, but I'm hoping that she didn't pass away while Angela was in another country, because that's just something that you don't want to happen. You don't want to have to deal with that regret. Okay, so Kalani and Asu, let's get to the good stuff, right? So we begin with Kalani and Asu. They want to get their families together so they can come to some sort of resolution, number one, between the families, but then also to help the relationship between Kalani and Asu. So, he wants his family to apologize to Kalani. And he's telling his mother and sister this. And the mother says, where's Kalani? When he goes to see her, where's Kalani? Is she still mad? She doesn't want to see us. And it's kind of, it makes me feel like, okay, where's the disconnect? Because the last time you guys saw Kalani, you guys were jumping on her, arguing with her. The sister tried to fight her. So of course she would be mad. I don't think she wants to see you. But it's weird that mom, it's almost like every time after they have a fight, the next day, like she'll see Kalani and there'll be a hug and a kiss as if nothing happened. Like, and then that also sheds light, now that I'm talking about it, on the way Asu views things. Like, okay, we fought, that happened. Why are we still mad about it? I thought it was over. That happened in Utah, wherever they were. I thought it was over. No, we didn't resolve anything. We just keep arguing about the same thing. And like, no, you're not going to try to fight me and I'm supposed to be cool with it. Like, it's not over. You know what I mean? But apparently that's the culture within his family, that like, okay, that was yesterday, clean slate today, like nothing happened. And that's unrealistic. So, he asked her, he confronted her. He said, did you say you want me to go back to Samoa with you, that you don't care about the kids, that you want a divorce? And then, they tell him that, basically they feel he put Kalani and the family before them, which you're supposed to do, right? And they said, I think it was the sister said, I need a divorce. And the mother wants him, she feels like she wants him to stand on his own and be strong. So they're saying two different things. The first, like the preliminary issue is we want the money, but beneath that, what they see, and the sister says it, she feels like he forgot where he came from. She feels like Kalani is older than him and controls him. Before she stepped into the picture, he would never say no to them. He would give them everything that they wanted, the whole thing. But now that she's there, she's changed my brother. She's made it so that you say no to us. You stand up to us. You don't give us what we want when we demand it. So, basically, Asu at this point, he's not backing down. He said, listen, I want to meet with her family, but I don't want you to say any stupid things. I don't want any fighting, no drama. So, the sister says, I don't have to apologize to Kalani. And Asu says, listen, I'm just sick of being in the middle of all this. So when they get to the table with, they have Kalani, her mom, Lo, they have Asuelu's sister, the one that is a non-hearing sister. That's this one, and then Tammy's the other, the loudmouth one, and then you have the mom there, and the kids, of course. And so that's when Kalani, I believe she says, I feel disrespected. And, Tammy, goes on her diatribe again. You have to send money back to Samoa no matter what. Kalani's dad is from Samoa. He should know. And, even, to the side, Kalani's mother says, they take this whole Samoan culture thing to the extreme. Yes, that is part of the culture, but you guys are asking way too much, right? And so, Tammy says, I feel like Kalani tells him to say no. And so the mother asked her, like, you're doing all this, but you guys don't care if you're causing a rift in their relationship. You don't care if they're fighting about this. And basically they don't, but it's a good question to ask. And, Asu said, I will stop sending money. And the mother says, well, I hate to hear you say that, but I love you. And then the mother just ends up saying, I love you. And I guess she sees, like, I don't want to lose a relationship with my son because that's what it's come to. So she apologizes to Kalani. Kalani apologizes to mom. Tammy says she will not apologize because she doesn't think that she said or did anything wrong in their previous conversation together, even though she tried to fight her. And you know, basically, oh yeah, there was one point where they were kind of talking. Kalani's mother tried to talk mom to mom, and Tammy said, "Don't talk to my mom." And you know, Kalani's mother said, "No, I'm not talking to you. Why are you jumping in? I am talking to your mother." You know, and they kind of go back and forth a little bit, and then Lo comes in finally because he's been quiet the whole time. He's like, "Okay, okay," you know, and he didn't get upset. You know what I mean? Like, I guess he said at one point, like in Samoa, that's the way they deal with things. They get upset, they fight and everything. I guess he's trying to learn a new way to approach these issues and situations. So he's kind of just like, listen, everybody simmer down. Don't get upset. I guess he's like the male figure at the table. Let's just calm this down. You know what I mean? And act civilized. And, you know, they did, because Lo has that presence about him that you're pretty much going to do whatever he tells you to do. So we'll see if this helps improve Kalani and Asuelo's relationship. But it seems like he's disappearing or something like that we saw in the preview. So we'll figure that out in the next episode. And then lastly, we have Libby and Andrei. And you know what? Andrei is really, he's growing on me. I couldn't stand him. I know the beginning of the season, I was like, he's abusive, he's this, he's that. But I think that he actually is it's a turning point for me now, seeing Libby's family in the light that they are showing themselves. And Andrei just seems like he's just been trying to defend himself, like he's been saying, your family isn't going to say or do whatever the hell they want to me without me saying anything, even though he is a chauvinist and the whole thing. Okay, 1 second. I'm sorry, y'all. I had somebody at the door. All right, so Andrei and Libby. So basically, I was like singing my praises for Andrei. I think this episode, I thought he was hilarious. Okay, but basically, this is the episode of the wedding. So in the beginning, we see, you know, Andrei confronts his friend. They're getting dressed in the, I guess, you know, like the bachelor suite at the hotel. And he asks his friend Marcel about, like, why did you talk to my family? What did you say? This whole thing. And, you know, Marcel basically says, I didn't talk too much. You know, I told them a little bit, you know, pretty much he said that I guess I didn't mean to tell them anything that you didn't want to tell them. And, you know, Andrei asked him a few things like, did you say this? And Marcel's like, I didn't say that. So Andrei's like, okay, so they were lying. Did you say that I was chased out of the country? And he was like, no, I didn't say that. He said, okay, so they were lying, type of thing. But he, you know, he was like, I guess the whole thing is just like, you know, I need to find out what happened between Marcel and him, because then you come confronting me and, you know, I don't even know what was said in the beginning. So, you know, we see Libby dressing up in the Moldovan attire for the church portion of the wedding, for the ceremony. And, you know, Andrei is preparing Libby's family to go in. You know, the church is very quiet. There's no jokes. This is seriousness. And I think the brother was like, why is it so serious? He's like, because it's a church. Like, I mean, come on. You know, like, I hate that sarcastic questioning where it's like, well, why this? Why that? You should know. You know what I mean? You're a grown person. You're a grown man. Like, come on, stop acting like that. You're doing that just to be funny. You know what I mean? I don't like that kind of stuff. Like, it's my wedding, simmer down, right? But don't worry, he shows his ass later. So then the dad, you know, is talking to the cameras, is like, you know, this is going to be a good day, but, you know, I'm not forgetting what happened in the past. He still has to prove blah, 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 blah. And I just realized that they just want to be miserable. They enjoy being miserable and upset at Andrei because they have nothing else to do with their lives. So they go into the church, and the church is beautiful. I mean, everybody in Libby's family has to admit, like, the church is beautiful. I mean, gold everywhere. The details are all in gold. The columns, the trimming, everything, the artwork is just beautiful. So then they, you know, everything went great at the wedding, and then they have to go to the reception. And so now this is when Libby's family is looking around, and then they start with their little comments. Wow, this is over the top. I feel like Andrei is trying to impress his Moldovan family by showing them how much money my dad, you know, using all of my dad's money to show them how he's living in America and this whole thing. And honestly, I think it probably is just that maybe the US dollar goes further over there. So they were able to, for whatever, you know, the father gave them, they were able to stretch it more. So, you know, they had dancers, and they had a bunch of food, and the father's like, you know, it's impressive. Like, they actually, it's more like a show. I've never seen a dance, you know, a reception where they had dancers come out, and they really know how to party. So he's impressed, you know. And so now the mother has to come. The mother's been quiet this whole time. She's been allowing her family to say these ignorant comments, but now here she comes. I was expecting to see a whole bunch of poverty and sad people in Moldova. I am surprised. You know what they don't get also is that even poverty-stricken countries Even in poverty-stricken areas of the United States, and we have them. You don't see it. You still don't see a whole bunch of sad people. You see people making the best of what they have, enjoying life, trying to stay happy. So it's just ignorant. Like, it's just, it doesn't need to be said. It doesn't need to be said right now or right here at a wedding. You know what I mean? I'm guessing maybe Andrei also is at fault because he didn't do a good job of explaining to them or telling them or exposing them to his culture and his country before they got there. But I'm just like, where did they get this stuff from? I don't know. They just come off as so ignorant, and I'm just so sick of their comments. So now the brother now comes to part of the reception where the speech has to be said, and the father gave a nice speech. You know, you're a part of our family, Andrei. We love you. And you see the brother trying to snatch the mic, and the brother already had way too many drinks. Andrei knows this, so he's trying to kind of say, don't give him the mic. You know what I mean? Like, you don't give it to him. But the brother snatches it, and he starts talking about, oh, you're like the king of Moldova, but he's a bitch ass in America, and just going off at the mouth on the microphone. And Andrei is pissed. The father is pissed. He's looking at him like, you know, chill out. You know what I mean? Because you're embarrassing us. You look like a damn fool. And, then, Charlie goes and at this point, this is where I'm laughing because Andrei is talking. He's up there talking to the people on the pedestal with him and Libby. And he's like, I'm going to beat your brother's ass. I'm going to whoop your brother's ass. And then you kind of see. Okay. All right. No, this is after that. So the brother's toast, he says, you don't ask my dad for shit. I think he said that in the toast. Take care of your shit and all this kind of stuff. Right. And then I feel like the music changed. You see the lights go blue. It gets dark in there. And it almost seems like a mobster movie where like Andrei's like, I'm going to beat his ass. So you see Andrei go over to him quickly, try to take him outside like, yo, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to fuck you up. But at the same time, it's almost like you have all these Moldovan brothers of Andrei, like in the party, like stationed in different places, like taking their spot and making sure nobody goes outside so Andrei can really get his get the brother good by himself, just a one-on-one fight. That was just the picture that came to my mind. I was rolling. I thought it was hilarious because Andrei was not playing any games, and I really think the brother needs to get his ass whipped by this time. You know what I mean? Because he's just been too much. He's been too extra. So, but then you realize that the brother is just jealous because he says to him, you haven't done this for any other kid. You have 7 kids, but you didn't do it for us, but you did it for Andrei. But really, brother, he did it for his daughter. He did it for his youngest daughter. If he didn't, then what? He doesn't want to lose his daughter. That's what this all is about. Like, he wants to keep the relationship with his daughter. He wants to take care of her. He wants to give her, she's the last one. Let me give her everything she needs. I know that her man can't give her much, so I'm going to be the one to give her everything she needs. Even though he doesn't agree with Andrei, what is he going to get out of giving her the cold shoulder? Nothing. He doesn't want to lose his daughter. So, brother, it's not about you. I get that you're jealous and you can't stand Andrei and you think he's getting more than you, but don't be mad at him. It's Libby. Get mad at Libby, if anybody. The dad is just doing what he feels he needs to do and what he wants to do. That's it. So next week, we're going to find out what happened with Andrei and Charlie outside. I hope it's more than a little push and a shove. I hope they actually get to it and Charlie at least comes out with a black eye or something, because I know Andrei ain't going to play with him. So let me know what you guys think. What were your thoughts on some of the episode in the comments? Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next week, hopefully in a couple of days, with the next review of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. Thank you. Reality with T.